Early reports confirmed that North Korea had launched multiple missiles toward the Sea of Japan, a stretch of water that has increasingly become the stage for these high-stakes demonstrations. For people living along Japan's coastline, the warnings came quickly. Authorities moved to reassure the public, but the instructions were clear. Stay alert, avoid unnecessary movement near coastal areas, and follow official guidance. Maritime advisories were issued, urging ships to exercise extreme caution. The concern was not just where the missiles landed, but how close they came. Japan's government, led by Fumio Kishida, confirmed the launches soon after detection. Defense systems tracked the projectiles as they traveled across regional airspace before descending into waters that sit dangerously close to Japanese territory. This is not the first time. For years, North Korea has used missile tests as both a military exercise and a political signal. Many of those launches have followed a similar trajectory, arcing toward the Sea of Japan, landing outside territorial waters, but close enough to trigger alarms in Tokyo and beyond. But each time it happens, the stakes feel higher, because the context keeps changing. Tensions across the region are already elevated. Relations between Japan and North Korea remain strained, shaped by decades of hostility, unresolved security concerns, and competing military postures. Add to that the ongoing instability tied to broader geopolitical friction, including rising confrontation involving Iran and the United States, and the situation begins to look less like isolated incidents and more like overlapping pressure points. What makes this moment different is the timing. There are no active negotiations with North Korea. Diplomatic channels that once opened, even briefly, have largely gone silent. Previous attempts at dialogue have stalled, leaving military signaling as the dominant form of communication, and missile launches are one of the clearest signals Pyongyang can send. From North Korea's perspective, these tests serve multiple purposes. They demonstrate technological progress, reinforce internal messaging about strength and resilience, and send a warning externally, particularly to the United States and its regional allies, including Japan and South Korea. But from Japan's perspective, the view is far more immediate. Each launch represents a direct security concern. Even when missiles land in international waters, their proximity matters. Flight paths, altitude, and impact zones are closely analyzed because small changes in trajectory could have major consequences. A miscalculation, a malfunction, or a deliberate escalation could quickly turn a demonstration into a crisis. That is why Japan responds the way it does, swiftly, publicly, and with an emphasis on civilian safety. Ships are told to secure routes. Fishermen are warned to stay clear of certain areas. Local authorities prepare emergency response protocols, even if they are ultimately not needed. It is a system built on repetition, because this pattern has repeated many times before. North Korea has conducted numerous missile tests over the past decade, some of which have flown over Japanese territory entirely, triggering nationwide alert systems. Others have landed closer to shore than expected, raising immediate concern about potential risks to coastal communities. South Korea, too, has often been part of this cycle, responding to launches, releasing its own military readiness updates, and occasionally conducting joint exercises with U.S. forces as a show of deterrence. But this latest round of launches is unfolding in a more fragile global environment. The mention of rising tensions involving Iran and the United States adds another layer. While these conflicts are geographically distant, they contribute to a broader atmosphere of instability, one where multiple flashpoints exist simultaneously, each capable of influencing the others. In such an environment, even a routine missile test can carry amplified significance. It becomes not just a regional event, but part of a global pattern. Back in Japan, officials have been careful with their language. Public statements emphasize monitoring, preparedness, and coordination with allies. There is no immediate declaration of escalation, but there is no attempt to downplay the seriousness either. Because the reality is this: the margin for error is shrinking. As missile technology advances, ranges increase, accuracy improves, and response times decrease. What once took minutes to assess now requires near-instant decision-making. And that places enormous pressure on defense systems, intelligence networks, and political leadership. For Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, the challenge is twofold: maintain calm domestically while signaling resolve internationally. Japan must reassure its citizens that it is prepared, while also making clear that repeated provocations will not go unanswered. That balance is difficult. Too much alarm can create panic, too little can invite further testing. Meanwhile, North Korea continues to operate on its own timeline. Its leadership has shown little willingness to return to negotiations under current conditions. Instead, it relies on displays of military capability to assert its position. And each launch reinforces that message. For the region, the concern is not just about what has happened, but what could come next. Missile tests rarely exist in isolation. They are often part of a sequence, testing different systems, refining capabilities, and sending layered signals over time. The question is how far that sequence goes. Japan, South Korea, and the United States are watching closely, sharing intelligence and coordinating responses. Military readiness levels are being evaluated, even if publicly they remain within standard parameters. Because in situations like this, preparation happens quietly. The public sees the alerts, the statements, the confirmations. Behind the scenes, far more is taking place. And as the missiles fall into the waters of the Sea of Japan, the immediate danger may pass, but the underlying tension does not. It lingers, it builds, and it waits for the next move.